We are on. Let's see.
Okay.
I need my comfort
Just
pillow.
submitting my keepsake.
Okay. Welcome back to the Mother Egg Collective Co.
Hello. Oh, we got a floppy mic. What else is new around here?
Dude, what is wrong with this? Okay.
Did you switch these?
No, don't touch the mic. Only the circle.
Hi
Hi,
guys.
guys.
That was weird. We missed you guys.
We do. I gotta turn.
Oh no.
It's just that. It's loose. Okay, that's better. I've got
We're
it.
alive. Nothing even.
No, it's just summer.
happened.
It's going to be hard to be consistent with two varying summer schedules, 4 kids between the two of us, 2 entrepreneur husbands, a lot going on.
Yeah. 2 new houses that need a lot of projects.
Yes. Yes.
They
we
don't
both
need 'em.
have.
They just
No,
want 'em.
it's just fun.
It's just fun.
It's just fun.
Yeah, I guess we didn't record last week. Was it because of Kate's wedding?
Well, Kate's wedding and the week before that was Lily's birthday party.
Yes. Yeah. It's just been like, like Amanda had a week where she was like, okay, my aunt is coming into town. I have Lily's birthday party. Like it's going to be like a kind of like crazy week. Meet me where I'm at basically. And I'm like all for it. And then this past week I was like, okay, so remember how that was your week last week? I feel like that's my week this week.
Yeah.
And then it just got more complicated because I decided that I was going to break my foot. And then I was in a wedding. I was a maid of honor in a wedding.
Yeah.
So then you're like, doing all the things for like all weekend. And then you get home from something like that. And then I'm processing like, okay, I just broke my foot. What does that mean for my summer? And then my sister's moving away this weekend. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I've just been throwing a big fat pity party for myself.
That's okay.
I had like all these aspirations for how this summer was going to go. And I think it's just so weird. Such weird timing. When you're an athlete, like I was a college athlete. When you're a college athlete or an athlete in general, you're used to the injuries and you kind of foresee them and you learn how to cope with them and it's whatever. But I'd never pictured being a mom and having an injury that would, prevent me from. I think what's bothering me the most is I just don't feel like capable.
Yeah.
I feel very incompetent.
Yeah.
I don't like needing help for simple tasks. That is really hard for me. And I just love to feel like capable.
Yeah.
Like, I can carry both my kids sleeping from my car into my house and transfer them and go grab the groceries and take my dog on runs and ride my bike or whatever. I just love feeling competent. So this is like really messing with me.
Yeah. That's no fun.
So, yeah.
Well, Lily's birthday party was really cute.
Lily's birthday
She's
party was really cute.
1 year old. Over a year. Oh, no, because I guess when did I record with her? She was...
What do you mean?
Her birth story was like 4 weeks old.
So
it's almost been a
she
whole
might
year.
have been like littler than that.
Yeah. And we were sitting right there with that table that's in that closet now with our old mics.
Oh, no, wait. She was 6 weeks old.
Was she 6 weeks old?
Yeah, I remember like the full 6 weeks was like, I'm going to take this.
That was the episode that Brady could not stand watching our reels. And then he bought us all new stuff.
He's so funny.
He's like, this is awful. I can't have you doing this.
What is so funny is like, I never thought twice about all of that until he said that. I was just like, I didn't even think people are going to listen to this podcast.
I know.
Like, we're just doing this for fun.
We're just
cares
best
when it's on
friends
our
talking.
iPhone? Like, who cares? And then here we are. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. No, it's been really good. In the last year, since we've had that episode, I mean, we've done a lot of stuff. Our page has grown a lot. We've started book clubs and play groups and made a lot of new friends.
I know. It is really fun.
It's a lot of fun.
And it's come in a season where I feel like I just really need that. Like we were talking about at the pool the other day, like we really, both of us like feel the need for like consistent rhythms of friendship in our lives. And I've spent like probably the past 5 years wrestling with like, what does that look like? And we talked about that at our last episode, but getting on the same page with certain friends and like, hey, is this something you're up for or not? Like, I just want to know so I can gauge my capacity and yours. And, I don't know, falling into some kind of like regular rhythm of things. I just noticed with the girls that were sitting around a circle at our book club, it was like, wow, people really need community. And I think we talk about a village all of the time. And that's what we've wanted to do through this podcast is build that. And like, what does that look like? And so this was just like one step. And I felt very vulnerable this past week because of my foot and my sister moving, and I just haven't been in a good headspace. I'm like, I just don't feel like myself. And normally in that situation, I would just stay at home. Like I wouldn't show up for the friend things because I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not myself right now and I don't want to burden anybody with my crap. So I'm just going to be home and get over it. And when I have something that I feel like I can give, I will show up. But I didn't feel like I had anything to give, and I still showed up, which was like really big deal for me. And I just felt very like taken care of, you know, like you giving Sunny snacks and lunch because I didn't pack any, like people covering up with like helping her wrap up herself in a towel, like taking her to the bathroom, you know, like just stuff like that when I'm just like sitting there with my sleeping baby and my foot's propped up and I just feel like I have nothing to offer. But that is the village that we are looking for. And I even like tried to apologize later to all of them and be like, I'm sorry guys, I feel like I was just like a party pooper and not myself. And everyone's like, are you kidding me? Like this is what we want and this is what we're here for. But yeah, I don't know, it's been special to see how like quickly those girls have all bonded.
I know it's been a lot of fun. So if you're listening to this and you're one of those girls, we love you.
I know. And just like the consistency of like people showing up is really special. I really value that, like just showing up regardless, you know, like one of the girls was like, I haven't slept in like 3 days, but here I am. And it's like, wow, I'm so glad you're here. You know, just like showing up regardless of how you feel. Yeah. It's a big deal.
It is. So we don't have a super strict plan for what we're talking about this podcast. We're kind of going to catch you up and then see where it goes.
I will start because we were like thinking, let's just talk about summertime and, you know, just whatever comes of that. It's like such a broad topic, but I'm reading this book right now called The Life-Giving Home. And if you haven't read it, it's such a good book. It is a long book. Like I'm reading it on audiobook and it's like every chapter is an hour long.
Oh, wow.
But towards the end of her book, she goes month by month and just talks about like each month kind of, she's basically like an older mom kind of like reminiscing on her time and all of the things she implemented. This woman is incredible. All the things she implemented in her home to have a life-giving home and how she raised her kids that way. And I actually don't know who it's by. Let me pull it up so you guys know. Anyways, it was fitting this morning. I was listening to June.
What was she talking about in June?
And she was talking here. Let me pull it up so you guys can see. Here we go. It's by
Sally Jackson.
Sally and Sarah Clarkson.
Oh, Clarkson. There we go.
I mean, guys, I've been listening.
Oh, it's free on Audible.
Yes. And Hoopla, which is what I usually do. So it's 11 hours long. So that's a long for an audiobook.
That's nothing.
I mean, for an audiobook, though.
It's because you can read nonfiction.
Yeah, true.
True. All the fiction books I read are like 24.
Yeah, because when I look at like the rest of the books I've listened to on here, that like takes the cake for the longest. Yeah. I mean, some of these like 8 hours is the average, so 11 hours is. Anyway, she was just talking about like ways to make summer a memorable time and how it's not like always about all of the big like grandiose things, but just like she really harps on just like regular rhythms that become traditions in your home that become like more of like expectations. And so she talked about just like the fresh fruit being stocked in the fridge and like the special drinks that are like, you know, bubbly and ready to like take to the pool and, you know, constantly inviting people into her home and having sleepovers with like big groups of like, not like friend on friend sleepovers, but it's like, let's have this whole family over for a game night and then everybody sleeps over and like they have a space for that family to stay. And she just harped on like outdoor time and like, you know, putting those inflatable, movie projection screens. Like
we were just talking about, we have a huge white house and we're going to build that patio. That's like literally what we were wanting to do.
Yeah. So like they actually have them on Temu for like pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Like getting one of those and like, you know, sleeping outside or like getting an air mattress, having a family movie night or inviting others over like, hey, let's watch this movie all together. You know, like I'll bring the popcorn, you bring, and just like.
That's like our favorite thing to do, by the way, is family movies. So like if you ever want to do that, just text me because we'll be there.
It would be so,
or I'll text
that's
you
what
and
I'm saying.
Here.
Like it'd be so fun. Just like a couple blow up mattresses and everyone just like snuggling under the stars and like watching probably a movie our kids want to watch.
I feel like Jesse and I have a gift, and it is like, honestly, I think it's a gift from the Lord of, I feel, and maybe I'm speaking for you, but I shouldn't be, but I honestly feel nostalgia for the moment I'm in all the time.
time.
I love that because I'm not I can sit there and like appreciate the moment I'm in. But Noah and I went to see Inside Out 2, and I know you haven't seen it yet. But like when Riley she hits puberty and like she gets these new emotions, and then I think it's just twice, maybe it's 3 times throughout the movie, there's this little old lady emotion that comes out, and she's like, do you remember when we all got here 30 seconds ago? And I'm like, oh, that's me.
I know.
Do you remember when this just happened 30 seconds ago? So I feel like like the fruit drawer is a big thing for me. Like I totally get that. And I think it's so important because like you want your kids to be nostalgic for their childhood.
And I was thinking the other night, because we have this like sorbet maker.
Yeah.
And you just put frozen fruit in it and you push it down, and it makes like the creamiest sorbet in the whole world. And Sunny has just been on the edge of her seat every day this week of like, what can we do today? Like today we should do blueberries, and it's literally just frozen fruit. I'm like, I don't care how often we're doing this. Like it's just, it's so fun. But those little moments are like, we batch make like homemade popsicles every week.
You do the same thing. We use Element.
Yeah.
Because or like Noah loves popsicles, and instead of like the sugar or whatever, we just have like popsicle molds, and we use their Element as an electrolyte pack. So we're doing
like coconut water or like orange juice, or like she likes cherry juice, which is absurd, but whatever.
Noah's favorite thing we do, when Palisade peaches come into season, I always get Tillamook's, like I love Tillamook ice cream. They're vanilla ice cream, and we just cut up peaches and I put it in the blender, and we have peach milkshakes like on a nightly basis, which is so much sugar, but I don't even care, because that, like, I look forward to that all year long. I know he does too. It's
so fun.
And he pushes the button. Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, because there's like, by the way, read that book if you can or have the capacity for it. I just feel like everything she said in there, I keep like sidetracking, but like I wrote this post about it recently about the scones. Yeah. Did you read that?
Yes,
Where
I did.
like she talked about, like, she was asking her daughter, because her daughter writes part of the book as well. And she was like, you know, people ask me like what my parents did that made me like want to believe in God and in Jesus. And she was like, I think it was like the a French toast on Saturday mornings, and the Celtic music at nighttime, and the, you know, all these like little moments. And I think it was just like this breath of fresh air for me of just like, wow, it's just like the little things. They'll choose to remember these, like, you know, when you like recount something with your sister or your mom or whatever, and they're like, I mean, you know, that was like such a big deal to you. And then they're like, I mean, yeah, I guess, like, whatever. It's just those kind of things that, I don't know. It's such a good book. But I think with that, there's this other side of it where it's like the pressure to give your kids like such a special summer, and all of the like bucket lists and all of the,
I was just telling you, summer's always kind of hard for me. It's my least favorite, not my least favorite season. Winter is probably, January to April is like the bane of my existence. But summer also I have a hard time with, because I think I am so nostalgic, and I'm always nostalgic for the previous summer or my childhood summers. And then in the moment, it doesn't feel like I'm living up to it. Does that make sense? Where I'm like, okay, I just got us in the car and we're at the pool, but man, I feel stressed out. Like, I'm not really
doing like what I thought I was going to do.
I know. And it's not as special as I wanted it to be, but I think that we've got to get out of our heads with that, because I think my mom, you know, the things I'm nostalgic for in my childhood were things that probably weren't that much effort.
Right. Yeah. I know. It's like the s'mores on like a random Friday night, like over your stove.
Tasting my grandma's cake batter and like jumping hay bales with my cousins. It's like, you know, and we do have those things that our kids will be nostalgic for.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, it's like beating a dead horse, but social media is probably the worst for all of it, because you like, you come across the summer bucket list and like everybody doing these elaborate vacations and you know, whatever else it is, and you're like, oh wait, should I be doing that? And then you're like, but I actually don't want to do that, like I don't know, like, you know, and then you're like, oh, I should probably go buy, I was like telling Sunny, I'm like, I should go buy her some pool toys, because every time we go to the pool, all the kids have toys, and I've never thought to buy her pool toys, but then like she tries to borrow these other kids' toys and they don't want to share, and just stuff like that, where you're like, okay, I guess I should get my kid pool toys. And then we're sitting like at the pool the other day with our mom friends, and they had these baby toys for their babies, and it hit me, I was like, I have not bought a single baby toy for Ledger. He's just playing with dolls and like random like washed up like kitchen utensils, and then I was like getting on Amazon and I'm like, maybe I should buy him some baby toys. And I think there's just like this sensitivity of being influenced over like, am I doing enough? Like, are my kids gonna have a good time, you know? And I think that's why I was simultaneously so stressed at the pool the other day because I'm like, why Sunny's not acting like herself? Why isn't she playing? Like, what's going on? And you kind of like go down this spiral of like, I pictured her like, you know, frolicking around with her friends, and she's just laying there like looking, I don't know.
She ended up frolicking though.
She ended up frolicking, which I was so grateful for.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like there's so much pressure on every moment. You feel it, and then your kids feel it, and it's like,
I know, it's like a double-edged sword with the nostalgia thing, like feeling it in the moment. Because then when it's not there, you're like, what's wrong? Why is this not feeling nostalgic right now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel that a lot.
Yeah.
I feel that pressure a lot.
Or like someone's off,
Yeah.
you know, like their mood is off, and you're like, come on, I've been like so excited about this. And then
I know. It's hard.
Yeah.
And then it's also hard just like I've been having that too, where I'm like, why am I letting all of these outside factors affect how I'm feeling in with my family? Like, why am I not feeling like just being here with my kids is enough sometimes? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been needing this missing link that I just can't figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of feel like something's missing and I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know. So no, I get that. But talking about social media, so I've been using it. Jessie broke her foot, so she's not using it right now.
I tried, and then I was like, oh, this is making me mad.
Yeah. But your sister actually texted our group chat and was like, you guys should download this app, ClearSpace. It's like a blocker for your social media.
Yeah.
And I kind of have that where I'll get on social media and I see all these things other people are doing and I'm like, I should be doing that. Why am I not doing that? Or what I get caught up in the most is I post to my stories a ton because it always facilitates all of these awesome conversations with my family. But then other people are commenting on them because obviously I'm posting them for all of social media, and then I get caught seeing what people are telling me and like answering questions that people are asking about sourdough or whatever. And then I spend too much time. And so I downloaded the app because I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let's play with it. And it asks you how many times do you want to get on to, and I said on Instagram and Facebook, like how many times do you want to get on there a day? And I was like, 5 times. Cause I'm thinking 5 is a lot. So I'm like, let's go easy on myself. 5 times is a lot. It was not a lot. And then
I did 3 and I was like, this is nope,
not happening. So then I set the minutes on, like, it was like, I could either choose 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes and 15 minutes or something like that. And I just, that very first day was like jaw dropping to me how many times I picked up my phone to just open the app. And what it does is it pulls you into like this breathing exercise where you take a deep breath. You let your breath out. It's 15 seconds. And you can choose to make that 5, 10, or 15. I just kept it 15. But like that like stops that impulse. So I feel like in a week, because it's been a full week since I've been using it, I no longer have the impulse to grab my phone and just open Instagram, which is like amazing. And I can't tell you how much of my time I've gotten back. I have spent less than 10 minutes a day on each Instagram and Facebook for a week. And the things I've been able to get done in my house. Now, I have been using Pinterest a lot because I've been obsessing over my homeschool room.
Yeah.
But the things I've been able to get done in my house, the way my mood has changed, the way my attention span has changed, the way I'm much more tolerant of my children, which is so sad to even have to say that, has just changed a ton. And I'm really, really liking it.
Good.
But to only open it, it shows me how many times I've opened it. I've opened it twice today. And it's just wild.
Yeah, I know.
The difference. But yes.
There's like always this time right before bed where Chase is like in the rocking chair with Ledger reading his book, and Sunny's usually asleep, and I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, I could read a book, but I don't want to right now. Like the nighttime reading, not my thing.
I love it.
My brain is like done. My brain is toasted.
You just want to turn it off and
like,
scroll.
I want to turn my brain off. I'm like, I just either want to watch a movie or be on my phone. Like I don't want to just like do anything else.
Yeah, I get that.
But like throughout the day, I easily could not have my phone. And most times I don't know where my phone is. And I'm actually okay with that. Yeah. It's almost just like maybe I've programmed my brain for so long of like, that's how we wind down. I just do mindless things, or I learn about mindless things, or yeah, I don't know. So I think like that moment of what do I do with my time if it's not this? And it's like, I know some of the answers. Like I could play scripture out loud. I could play my audiobook out loud. I could like play music out loud, or I could literally just like try to.
Yeah. Well, even
pray.
just like with Brady and I, just having the TV on, watching a show is like, that's our thing. When he gets home from work, we put the kids down and we turn on a show. We're always watching something. Like we have something that we're watching. But doing that without phones and the conversations that are facilitated when we're not on our phones doing that, I don't know. I feel like It's just deeper.
Well, then I was thinking about how like, and I don't know if I've said this on our podcast yet. I know I have said it at our book club. But I got that lockbox for our phones.
Yeah.
And the only reason we haven't like facilitated it yet is because we've been trying to work with how to set up our landline, which is actually so much more complicated than you would think it is. You need like a special router, and right now the cable is only in our basement and all this stuff we're trying to figure out. But I got this lockbox off of Amazon, and basically you can put anything in there, but we put what I want to do. We're going to put our phones in there. Every day Chase gets home from work, our phones go in there. You put it on, it's like called fortress mode, which basically means it locks and there's no way that you can open it until the next day. And so it's just like the ultimate unplugging event. But the night we were going to start doing it, that was the night Ledger had that allergic reaction. And I was so grateful we hadn't put them away, because I'm like, wait, what are we doing? Wait, what do I do right now? Like, I just had this moment of like, wait, do I call 911? Wait, I can't call 911. Like, if my phone was away, I couldn't have called 911, all this stuff. And so I was like, I would feel best if we had a home phone or another outlet of like, if we needed something or if someone needed us, we hand out our home phone number, and that can be, you know. But I'm like picturing kind of the good old days where it's like, hey, I'll see you at 7. And then unless you're like, call my home phone to say that's not happening anymore, like I'll see you at 7. And now I'm thinking like, okay, so what does that mean? Because there's going to come a time very soon. All we're trying to do is reroute this cable through our wall so that our home phone's on our main floor, not in our basement. What is that going to look like going to bed? You know, maybe I'll have more capacity at the end of the day and I'll just be able to read a book. I don't know. Or maybe Chase can just read out loud to me. He's very anti-screens before bed. So he does not want the TV on.
Chase is such a hippie.
Yeah.
And I love it. What is he reading? What does he read?
He's reading a bunch of theologian, like a bunch of theologian, what are they called? It's like doctrine, and I don't know. It's a very deep into like the foundations of scripture and the history of Christianity, and
I love that,
all sorts of stuff. So he's gonna be so annoyed that I don't remember, because he talks about it all the time. We should know what this Charles Spurgeon, maybe his name is. He's reading about him.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's awesome.
So if you know, then you know.
I've read in the last week 2 full novels, because I haven't been on my phone and like getting stuff done. I read, so this is like so beyond, like this was popular 2 years ago, and because it was popular, I didn't read it. You know how you are with most trends? I'm like that with trendy books. I'm like, no, I'll skip it. But The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was like a super popular book like a year ago. So freaking good. 10 out of 10 recommend on Audible, like an audiobook. It was so good. And then I read Hail Mary. It's the same guy that wrote The Martian.
A horror thing?
No, it's like a space thing. Because, something you got to know about me, I'm very eclectic when it comes to my book taste. I love fantasy. I love sci-fi. I love romance. I love horror. I love crime. I just love books. I really do. So I read that one. Amazing. I'm reading Wayward Pines right now, which I watched the show when it was popular. Like that one's more of like a sci-fi horror. It's really good though. I'm really enjoying that. And that's by Blake Crouch. Blake Crouch, one of my most favorite books, which is super dark. It's like about time travel, is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. It's so good. So I'm reading Wayward Pines because it's by Blake Crouch. But I'm like finding so much more time to do stuff. But then I also got on, so you know how I obsess over my living room? My living room's as done as it's going to be for right now. I'm also obsessing right now on my schoolroom because school's coming up. But because this week I feel like I've had a lot of capacity, I've noticed that my son is not having a lot of capacity. So something about Noah is that Noah's very independent. His whole life, very independent play. We moved into our rental house. We were in an apartment. We moved into a rental house when he was 11 months old. And the rental house had a ginormous backyard. It backed up to green space. There was privacy fences on the sides of us. I mean, it felt like we lived in the middle of nowhere, and there was like different areas of our yard. So the right side of our yard was a basketball court. If you go to the the right center, it was like a playground and a bunch of grass. And then this section was mostly grass and a tree that Noah would ride his monster trucks on. And then there was like a little pebble fire pit thing happening over here that he would use as diggers. And then on the side was, it was just empty. So Brady made like a whole RC car track. So like we had this amazing backyard. And even at a year old, he would just go outside and play for hours on end. And I could clean, I could get stuff done, I could listen to books, I could do all these things because he was having so much fun outside by himself. So now we live in this house. It's a new build. There's nothing in our backyard because we moved in and we just needed to put some grass down for our dogs to pee in after we had Lily. And I've just noticed this week that I have to like entice him to do something so that I can clean my house. Which is, and then it like hit me. That's not normal for him. Mm-hmm. That's bizarre because usually I just, he'll be watching a show or something and he's not really watching. He's playing and I'll just turn it off and he's like, okay, bye. And he's outside. And now I'm like, buddy, you've been watching TV for like 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's time to turn it off. And he doesn't argue with me. I'll give him that. Like, he's like, okay. And he'll go find something to do, but I can tell it's just different. It's not like bored, this yearning to want to go outside. So now I'm on an obsessive track with my backyard because I'm like, how do I make this small new build backyard into something that can spark his imagination? Because that's what it was about our last backyard was there was so many different areas where he could be creative. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now it's just a patch of grass and some rocks and he can't be creative. So we're fixing that. Yeah. It's just going to take time, but I know that is sad. I'm fixing it because I hate that. And this isn't our forever house. Brady's been on Redfin like every day for the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. He's just like, we could just totally sell this house because a lot of houses are selling. People have been selling and they've sold their house just down the street. So I don't know. It was on the market for a long time though. It was like 4 months. Yeah. Which is long for Colorado. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Yeah. No, it's okay. Don't be sorry. I know. It's just like, I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know. My brain's not really working that well. I told Amanda, I'm like, I hope that my brain works for this podcast episode. I'm like just so sad about my sister. I'm like never going to stop talking about it. I think for so long, I just like didn't actually think it was going to happen. And for those of you who don't understand the context of the situation, I'm one of 5 kids and we grew up in Littleton. My parents still live in our childhood home. None of us ever left. We're kind of like a very like obsessive family with each other and still like have dinner every Sunday night together. And ever since Amanda and Maverick got married, my sister, she's 3 years older than me. So it's her and then me. We were like just best friends our whole lives. And when they got married, they got an apartment in Arvada. And I just remember being so devastated because it was like a 40-minute drive, like, and it was always traffic. And then they moved to Parker. And then they moved into our house. So Parker was where we lived. So then they moved into our house and we had babies together. And we brought our babies home to the same house. And we just did our first year of our first babies like together, literally every day. Coffee, playtime, like our babies were always together. And then they moved a mile down the street and they've been there forever. Yeah. And that's where they're moving out of and they're moving to a different state. And so we've like truly never known life apart from each other. And our kids have never known a day apart from each other, genuinely. And I think that's what's really hard for me too, is just like feels so cruel. Like that's the word I keep thinking of. I'm like, why? Like, and they have their reasonings and like I know it's hard for her too, but I'm just like, it doesn't feel right to me, like why they have to leave. So I don't know. I feel like my brain is just like not functioning well. I'm like, she's like a part of me and then she's just like gonna be gone. And Brave is a part of Sunny and he's gonna be gone. And I just like don't know what that's gonna do to my mental health. I think it's gonna be rough for a while. But I think at least when I was telling you my sisters-in-law, when they each moved out of town, it was like a couple of weeks of finding a new rhythm. And then after I found a new rhythm, like it still felt like it was sad and hard. And like I said, these are my sisters-in-law and it's not the same situation, but a few weeks of a new rhythm, which is gonna be hard with your freaking foot. And that's the other thing. I'm like, okay. And then even like the things I feel like that were bringing me so much joy, like working out and then like getting my bike with the trailer to pull the kids to the pool and swimming with my kids and just running my dogs or walking them. Like we were doing these evening walks after dinner every night, like on the new path by our house. And now to just feel so like kind of homebound in a season of just like where you're supposed to be going out and doing all the things is so hard. And like,
I don't know.
How many weeks did they say you're going to be in the boot?
He said potentially like 8. I don't know. I'm like really praying for something miraculous. Like I'm like fully hoping to like go back next time and for them to be like, oh my gosh, it's healed. What happened? I'll be like, Jesus.
When is that? When is your next x-ray?
So I broke it a week from this past Tuesday, which is actually crazy. So next Tuesday.
Okay.
They're checking it every 2 weeks.
Okay, good.
Because they were kind of borderline, like, does this need surgery right now?
Yeah.
So they were like...
She like messaged me. She's like, I don't know. What do you do for a broken toe? I'm like, okay, Jesse, honey, I've broken a lot of toes. Like, they just tape it to the next one. It's going to be okay. Like, go check it out if it hurts, but it's going to be okay. She sends me this picture of her x-ray. She didn't break her toe. She shattered the whole toe and just like in a bunch of little pieces. I was like, oh.
I know. And that was even just the urgent care x-ray. Yeah. Like when I actually went to the podiatrist and they did like a full 360 x-ray, they saw all of these shards like above my joint everywhere. And so anyways, I was just like, okay. And I haven't broken anything on my feet, but I've broken all my fingers like playing basketball, because that's just what happens. Like you you catch a pass wrong and it's just like, so I've broken all my fingers and I broke my shin, and that was ultimately why I like didn't return to sports. And like, I don't know, I just had this moment where I was like, I was in the garage. We were literally leaving to go to the pool, and all I said was like, ow, that really hurt. Like that was my tone. That was my, I literally was like, oh, that really hurt. And then I like go inside and I'm like trying to just like, I'm like, surely that's just like a sting, like it'll, and I know I have a very high pain tolerance, but I was just like, why can't I put any pressure on that? Like, that's not normal, and I like ice it for a minute, and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, I don't think it could get any more swollen. So I just called Chase. I'm like, so I think I need to just go get an x-ray. But yeah, anyways, I'm like having a hard time picturing what my everyday life is going to look like right now.
Well, I'll help you. Let's find some new rhythms, because I feel like this next week you're either going to sit at home by yourself and be sad, or you're going to let me come over, even if your house is messy, and we'll have fun.
I know. It's true. We'll just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I know. It'll be okay. And that's I don't know why I keep burping. I'm like, probably because I haven't eaten that much today. So then I'm like eating this cookie. My body's like, what are you doing?
It's just a bunch of active
sourdough. Just a bunch of like stomach acid. Oh yeah, I don't know. But we're also trying to get our schoolroom together, because I was just kind of having this thought of, wow, like just when your kids get older, and I've known I've wanted to homeschool. That has like never even been a question in my brain. I don't like, I've never once looked at what someone else is doing and been like, oh, I think I should. No, like the Lord gave me such a clear like conviction for homeschooling, and I don't know anything about it. And I'm like, I'm literally just like going for this. And I've been praying so hard for like a spiritual mother to come into my life who's like been there, done that I can learn from and like gain wisdom from, who can just be like, hey, I did this. And like, here's, all the things, and here's some hurdles you might run into, and here's this and here's that. And when we were talking to some girls the other day about schooling and all that stuff, and what I always say is like, there's going to be something that like our kids grow up and think, mom, you could have done that better, or this differently, or this, whatever. 100%. And it's like, I know that I'll have the humility to say, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But I also know I'll have the confidence to say, I did exactly what I thought I was supposed to. And I'm so sorry. It wasn't what you thought you needed. It was exactly what I thought you needed at the time. It was what I felt like the Lord was confirming over you in that season of your life. And we don't know what you were being protected from. And I just like hope and pray that that's a good enough answer, because we're never going to know like what they're going to want 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But all I know is right now, this is what we're doing. And just trying to remind myself, it's like not about me qualifying myself. It's like the Lord qualifies me, and he's going to speak through me and work through me to give her what she needs. But with that, I really felt like, okay, well, I want to have a dedicated space. That was part of why we moved. Yeah. Genuinely. We would love to get into foster care, and you need dedicated space for that. We want to have a heart to host, and we have a heart to host. We want to have a place to host, and we didn't at our old house. It felt very crowded. If there was even another being in there that wasn't our family. And we want to homeschool. Yeah. And I've heard like one of the most successful ways to homeschool is to have a dedicated space set aside that is like, this is school. We walk into here and I'm teacher and you're a student, and we learn, and we kind of put our thinking brains on, and like, this is where we, get it together. And so that I've just been dreaming about our homeschool room since we've been building this house. I'm like, I think it'll be over here. And anyways, trying to plan that has been really fun, and just trying to get all of those things like gathered and prepared well. I just want to prepare well.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
I think a lot of this summer I feel like is going to be preparing for that.
That's how I'm feeling too. Because we're going to start Noah kindergarten, which feels really big to me. We did playing preschool last year, and we did the whole thing. And it was like, I felt like playing preschool was a test for me. And I think he said this to you. It's like not a test to see if I'm a good teacher, a test to see if I can hold boundaries, a test to see if I can hold a schedule, a test to see if I can homeschool even if I don't feel like it, a test to see if I could get it done. Because I felt like if I failed that test, I was going to have to rearrange some things, whether it was have help homeschooling. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I thought in my head, this curriculum, because it's an easy curriculum.
Yeah.
This curriculum,
it's like 40 minutes a day.
You can't mess it up. You can't. It's just playing with your kid. You cannot mess it up. But it wasn't a test for Noah. He was going to do it and he was going to have fun. It was literally a test for me to make sure that I could do it. And I did it. And it was so much fun. But now I'm like, I'm going to start him kindergarten. And now I'm like, oh, so he's supposed to be really learning stuff. And it feels big to me. It feels really, it doesn't feel like, and you can't really mess up kindergarten either because they're still just playing. 7 is when things get a little bit more intense and you're like actually doing different subjects and things. But for some reason, kindergarten is just feeling like big to me. So I've been on the same boat.
I think I just like, I really want, like, I recognize it as the honor that it is. And that is part of why I wanted
to do a good job.
Yeah. Like you just want to do well by your kid and by yourself and by God. And I feel like just, you know, having that grace on you. Cause I know people always say like, oh, I could never do that. And it's like, and that is totally fine. That's totally fine to like recognize your capacity. But I just feel this grace on me that like, but that's all I want to do. Yeah. I want to be the person teaching her all of her firsts. I want to be the one, for lack of better words, like indoctrinating her with knowledge.
If it's not you, it's
because
somebody else.
And that's the thing is like, and nobody else in this entire world is as committed to her heart and her well-being and her spirit and her soul and her eternal life than I am, and than her dad is. And I just feel like having that us in her corner, and I say us because Chase also is obviously passionate about trees. He's an arborist, but he bought this book called Forest School like 2 years ago. He's been so excited to like teach her forest school. And I think this is the year and he does his own stuff with her all the time. They like literally wander off into forests and just like get lost and who knows what they do. Like she picked up like deer poop one time and I was like, oh, please don't tell me that. But anyways, he's going to, on Fridays, he doesn't work. So he is going to also dedicate the first few hours every Friday to teaching forest school. And then he was like, invite all your friends who you would think would want to do that. And we will just like, you know, we're all just like learning as we're going, but he really feels good about like getting them out into the wild and teaching them things and like fun, silly, you know, little kid things, but learning nonetheless.
Did you look at that curriculum I sent you?
I did.
Because it's mostly like just bringing things that are from nature inside and doing things just with flowers and sticks and water. So I thought that
and also I feel like you can never get enough.
I know. So I didn't know if that was the same thing. I didn't think it was the same thing. Because he's more teaching about
I haven't read the forest school book. Okay. And so I wouldn't, I don't completely know. And
show Chase because I don't want it to be like a double thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, and we need to start a co-op. Even if it's just like Sunny and Noah co-op, and then maybe in a year or two we start finding people to invite in, because I feel like our homeschool group, it's all babies.
It is our play group. I did just go up to somebody in leadership at my church last week because I was like, hey, I don't know where to start with all of this, and I would just really love if somebody could come and be like, hey, this is how you should do it. But like, I would love if like I was just like, is there like an announcement we can put out with like people at church, or like, I know church is probably one of the biggest ways to like find people who are also doing homeschool. But even like I'm a part of a couple Facebook groups like Parker, Elizabeth, Kiowa, I think, I don't know, a couple other like little districts of homeschooling. Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like there's co-ops out here in Parker, at least. The ones I've seen, they're all like teens.
Oh,
they're like older.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll have to do some digging.
Yeah.
Or just, yeah. I mean, I feel like the purpose of co-op is just like you want your kid to learn from other people other than just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least have the ability to sit and listen to somebody else.
And like
But they're
consistent group
trusted
of
people
friends.
and socialization. But I feel like, you know, they're trusted people that you've
Yeah.
like.
And I love the idea. I was talking to Brady about this, and it talks about it in the Danish Way of Parenting, which is what we're reading for our our book club. I'm sorry.
I spaced on that Facebook group too. We have not been doing anything on that
we
Facebook
haven't.
group.
It's been a lot of stuff going on.
So
but
many things.
it talks about how it is, and it doesn't say this, but I've seen this somewhere else. It is so bizarre that we think it's abnormal to not have kids in a classroom of everybody, 30 people the same age. When are you ever in that situation again in your life? What the Danish book, The Danish Way of Parenting says, having kids of all different ages in one group is so beneficial because it's never competition between two people the same age. It's always a mentor and someone learning constantly. And Noah could be a mentor to someone who's younger than him, but be learning from someone who's older than him. So having like a co-op with like a 4 to 5 year age span is so beneficial.
I would love diversity.
Yes.
Of age, generations, race, backgrounds.
Yeah.
I just feel like that is what the kingdom exemplifies, and just having that in your child's life.
Yeah.
I agree. Like the last thing that I ever want is to just be surrounded by like people who are exactly like us all of the time. Like that's not, you're never going to learn or grow. If you think about like, if you only surround yourself with people who have like the exact same everything as you, like, you know, religion, financial status, like race, identity, background, you know, upbringings, discipline, stature, whatever you want to talk about. And then it's like, where is the growth in that?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
It's fun to have. I have a dinner group that we, you know, just my people on my street. None of us have anything in common. We're all from, I mean, me and Bailey do, but like the rest of us, we're all different stages of life, different, even religions, different like backgrounds, different races. And it's so much fun to get together. And like we had a whole conversation about somebody else's religion last night, and it was so captivating and so interesting, and I loved it so much. So yeah, I totally agree. So we need to find a co-op, even if we just start like, we have this curriculum of this little nature fun thing, and just start inviting people to that is a co-op. And then every week somebody teaches it different. You know what I mean?
And honestly, side note to that, I feel like it speaks to the security you have in your own beliefs to surround yourself with people who don't believe the same thing as you, and say like, that's okay. You know?
It is
and
okay.
Like, and just like not feel so threatened all the time. Like I think that, I don't know, our world is so weird. We're like automatically threatened all the time by people who just like think differently than us. And it's like, but why? Like if you believe what you believe, you should surely have some reasons behind that.
Yes.
And then if you have reasons behind that, then you have something to stand on.
Yeah.
If you have something to stand on, why are you afraid of getting knocked over? You know, like, I don't know. I just think it's all just like so silly. And that's one of my biggest passions about raising my kids. And honestly, like it's hard to find here.
I know. And Parker, yes.
It's hard. And I do feel like our new neighborhood is actually pretty diverse, but our old neighborhood was diverse.
This one is pretty diverse.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I would love, I mean, anyways, I don't even know how I got on that tangent, but I just feel like it's really important. All of the like, we should do a whole episode about like the myths or like the preconceived notions of homeschooling.
My biggest one is like, so how are they going to be social? Have you met Noah? Have you met my son Noah Robert Johnson? Because he can talk to any adult as if like, I don't know, he has no fear to talking to anybody, and he's like very socially intelligent. Like he understands social cues, like that's it.
But also I just feel like that, have you ever seen that meme that's like,
I don't want my
what
kids
about
to be
homeschool?
normal.
Like, what about socialization? Well, that too. What about socialization? Blah, blah. It's like, I said I was going to school my child at home, not live under a rock forever.
Or like, I don't really want my kids to be normal if it means normal is having a litter box in the bathroom. Normal.
School, let's talk about normal. And
not my high school. It's my niece's high school. Literally has a litter box in the bathroom for furries. I don't really want that type of normal. I'm sorry.
I'm like, if normal is like getting bullied and being insecure about what you look like and sound like and smell like and I'm like,
yeah.
There was a post, and I don't say this lightly because I was crying about it earlier. There was a post on the Denver Moms Facebook group today. saying my 8-year-old daughter, her search history on her phone, why she has a phone, I don't know, is how to commit suicide. She talks about how insecure she is in her body image. She's struggling with friends. There's girls having sleepovers with her, not inviting her, and all this stuff. And I'm like, 8 years old is a baby.
Yeah.
Is so little. Why is she having those thoughts? Where is she getting that? It's from school.
Yeah.
And I don't say this to shame people from like who send their
No.
kids to school. Please hear my heart in that. But there is reasoning behind why people keep their kids home aside from just like a control aspect of things.
So many, a lot of
there's
people
this, like,
are doing it
sheltering.
now. It's becoming a lot more like common.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's a privilege because if I had to work, I wouldn't be able, and not that I wouldn't, because there are a lot of working moms who do make it happen. So, but it would be a lot harder. So it is definitely, I think I don't take that lightly, that it is a privilege that I get to do that with my son.
I know. And I don't, I don't know. If you've listened to even one, like more than one of our episodes, you know that we're like speaking from where our hearts postures and our experiences, and that doesn't mean anything for you and your heart posture and your experience. It's just like sometimes I get so passionate about thinking about Sunny.
I know.
In some of these other situations or circumstances where even like as benign as her going to school and feeling like she needs to pretend to be someone she's not to fit in, or deny that something is her favorite just because it's not everybody else's favorite, or I just like have these little moments where I think about even some of the things that I navigated and went through, and I almost just like want to go hug my little self. Like there was this girl named, I've already talked about her on this podcast because it just sucked. Her name was Lexi, and she was so cold at recess one day as she made me like run and scrape my knees on the concrete so that they would bleed so that she could go inside to the nurse's station with me because she was so cold at recess. And I did it. I was like, and she like stomped on my glasses. She broke my glasses. Like it was like very typical like bullying situation.
Yeah.
But then what I internalized and learned, because I was being bullied in second grade, was like, oh, you have to become this way to like survive. You can't be soft and delicate, and you can't be a follower and a people pleaser and all these things. And then I turned around and just became this like bully. And then that was me for who knows how long. And I had this like posse of girls that would, follow me around, and I feel like I like survived through life that way. And then you get into high school, and then all of a sudden like you're cool because you're on the varsity sports team and you're dating the quarterback on the football team. And I was like, okay, I'm cool now. I dated a complete jerk for 4 years of my life who treated me like garbage just because I felt the security and like, well, at least I'm dating the quarterback on the football team, and like at least I'm like playing varsity sports. And then I was like, well, now I'm going to play college sports, so like I'm cool there too. I'll have friends there because I'll be on this team. And then I break my shin in half and I get like my 8th concussion, and then it's like, where do I belong now?
Yeah.
And then I have to like reprogram and start all over again. And it's like this ongoing, like, who am I? Where do I belong? And will these people accept me if they know this about me? And it is exhausting. And I feel like I'm a strong, secure person. So like how much more for somebody who might not feel like they're a strong, secure person? And I worry about Sunny because she's so soft and delicate and sensitive. And I just if she's just like this tiny little dandelion, in the wind, I just feel like I just want to like, protect her. And I don't know, our church sermon last week, actually so amazing. If you want to go listen to it, I go to Legacy Hills, and Pastor Matt was talking about, it was actually the sermon for Father's Day. And he was talking about the importance of protection over our kids and how that's so often deemed as like, oh, that's controlling. This is controlling. This is that. And it's like, he brought up that verse about like sheltering like the Lord's children under his wing, and how it's actually such a godly characteristic to like shelter your kids and protect them and train them and teach them in private until they're like strong and secure in the Lord. And then like having the discernment enough to be like, okay, now like go, but not before they're ready. And the only person who knows when they're ready is their own parents, because like that is the gift that the Lord has given you as a parent, me as a parent, is like, I think we'll have that piece of like, okay, you're ready, and like go.
I hope so. Cause I've been wondering about that, because I have this thing where Noah, I read a stat that was like, your kid decides if they're a good learner by the time they're like 4, or maybe it was 5. And by the time they're 8, you can't change their mind. And when I was like tormenting myself over homeschool, he was spending time with his cousin Callie, who is like, she is very much fits the box for like a public school. Like she could read at 4. She could write her name at 3 years old. Like, and Noah's a boy. That is not a boy characteristic.
Yeah.
Noah not doing that. And he would spend a weekend there because like Brady and I went out of town, and he would come back and he's like, Mom, I'm not good at puzzles. Let's just throw away all my puzzles and give them to Callie because she's good at puzzles. And it's not like anybody, I trust my mother-in-law explicitly who is watching them, and my sister-in-law. They didn't say that. Noah internalized that. And I saw him comparing himself to his peers and deciding at 3 that he wasn't good at stuff. So we started homeschool at 3, and that changed, and it's gonna make me cry because he started saying things, and I think I posted about it the first time I heard him say it, because I kept saying, like, when he would do something like, oh, you got to be so proud of yourself, you're so good at this, and he said, I'm such a good learner, and he was 4. So he's decided at 4 that he's a good learner. I'm not about to send him off somewhere for someone to make him feel stupid and for him to be affected his entire life that he's not a good learner, because that happened to my husband, who is brilliant. He is so brilliant. His mind is so full of knowledge and care and love. And I will watch someone ask him to read at church, and I will watch the back of his neck flush because someone in grade school made him feel stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just will not let that happen to Noah. I haven't even gotten to the parts of the, like, cause I have a little girl, you know, but she's so new. I haven't gotten to the parts where I'm worried about all of that. I'm just worried about a teacher making my son feel stupid, because I had in fourth grade. I don't know if you guys did it because I'm older than you. AR points, where it's almost like an online book report. You can only read inside your reading level. You take the reading level test, and we had like, when we went to the library, it was a bookmark with a different color for each reading level. So immediately you were put down if you couldn't read. If I was in 4th grade reading a 6th grade level and my friend was in 4th grade reading a 2nd grade level, you immediately knew that. And then you had to read so many AR points. So each book was worth a certain amount of points. The 2nd grade reading level books weren't as worth so many points. So if I could read a chapter book, anyways, and then you would take tests. And I remember being in 4th grade, and I've always loved books. I love books now. I read like 5-6 books a month, fiction books, love it. But I didn't read all of 4th grade. I hated it. It was like pulling teeth because my teacher didn't let me read outside of my AR level. And the reason was because I wasn't memorizing my times tables. I wasn't memorizing numbers, which that's not my thing. I have a photographic memory. I can look at something, like, that's why I have a doctorate's degree. I can look at something on a piece of paper and then an hour later go take a test and remember exactly where the word was on the piece of paper and write down the answer. But like, I don't know, memorizing just it's just, I don't know. And she made me feel stupid. And I went that whole entire grade feeling stupid. I graduated with a 4.2 GPA because I had a 4.0, and then I had a 4.5 for the college courses I was taking. I had a 4.0 all through college. I have a doctorate's degree. Like, I'm not stupid. Do you know what I mean?
And that's almost like, I almost feel like we spend so much time trying to like prove, like, I think everybody has one of those like enemies in their lives at some point that made them feel like they weren't good enough, smart enough, athletic enough, whatever it was. And then you almost spend like such a big chunk of your life like going back and trying to prove them wrong, but just kind of prove yourself wrong for believing that at one point, you know? And I just think, no, you can't protect your kids from everything by any means. But I just think when you are, you know, schooling in the realm of a space that is safe and dedicated, and like it's one-on-one, and no one knows your kid or understands them or loves them the way that you do. So just kind of like having that time is so special. And so I don't know, just to like give you guys a little bit more of like our hearts behind why we decided to do that. Once again, not saying it's
we
right
know
for
our
everybody.
kids, we don't know your kids,
right?
That's just what it comes down to.
And I know that there are probably kids out there that never in a million years would sit still and listen to their mom at a kitchen table, and
or their kids like my niece Callie, who will thrive. I don't care what kind of school system she goes into, she's gonna freaking thrive.
And there's people who are just like much more solidified in different ways that are just like maybe more ready, like the pastor was talking about. It's like, and that's okay. But anyways, I feel like summer, to summarize, I think my summer is a lot of preparedness for the fall. And especially now with like breaking my foot, I just feel this call to slow down and rest.
Yeah.
And I will listen to that. And just kind of like, just look around and try to like prepare well and not scramble into something. Because sometimes I feel like I'm just like running around, and half the time I feel like I'm just like doing things to like for other people. Like I don't even know, when I look back on like the times that I feel like I'm scrambling, I'm like, nothing was ever getting done for me. Like the hair on my legs is like an inch long right now. Like I don't remember the last time I took a good shower, but I feel like I've just been going and going and going and going. And then I'm like, I look back and I'm like, oh, but like this really meant something to this person and I wanted to be there. And this meant something to this person. I wanted to show up, and then I wanted to do this thing for this person. I want to make sure that I'm doing this for Sunny and my husband and now my, all this stuff where like my mind is just like this. And then I look back and I'm like, but I'm completely neglected. I'm completely exhausted. I feel just like burnt out. And then I don't even know like what to do about it. Like one of my friends texted me and was like, I feel like the Lord is just like telling you it's okay to rest right now. And she told me this dream that she had about me, and the next morning I broke my foot. And I was just like,
he's like, Jesse, I was trying to tell you,
I was
and you
like,
didn't
what
listen.
is that? Like, what? And then I'm literally like, okay, yeah, rest. I gotta rest. And then I'm like, what in the heck does rest look like when you have a toddler and an infant and a broken foot and a new house that's like, has stairs in it? And I just started thinking about all this stuff, and I still don't know. It's been a lot of movies and, some really long pool days, like unhurried pool days, I think are very restful, where you're just like, well, I know where to be, so I'll just kind of hang out here. But I'm like, the slow mornings are good, like coffee and like smoothies and just kind of like hanging out, but I just don't know what that looks like. So maybe this upcoming season is just like redefining rest. And I don't remember the last time I have ever done that.
Do you know what I'm going to struggle with? Because something I'm really wanting to do, Noah thrives in a routine. If you've ever heard me talk about his bedtime routine, you will know that my son thrives in a routine. And so with preschool, I kind of prided myself on, well, we're so flexible. I can do school in 40 minutes. So we could either do it in the afternoon. We could do it in the morning. We could do 2 lessons in one day and just have this whole day to be with friends. So like, but I'm really going to try and say, no, every morning I'm prioritizing this time, and we're going to start the morning with Bible. And we're going to wake up, we're going to do breakfast. I'm going to make a schedule, and then we're going to go into Bible study, and then we're going to go into our curriculum. And then I'm going to try it. It doesn't have to be that way. Some people homeschool, like I homeschooled preschool, and I homeschooled preschool fine. That's how I would like to do it, honestly. But I think Noah would really thrive in every morning.
And I have this friend, and I don't know if she's listening or not. Her name is Jessie also. And she's really sweet. We met at MOPS. We have little girls, and then we both had little boys. And her daughter is 7, and she's always homeschooled her. She might almost be 8, which is crazy. But I've always really admired her because she is dedicated to homeschooling and doing it well and doing it right. And it's a priority to her. And so like no matter when you ask her, like, hey, do you want to do this? It's like, I think it's 9 to 12 or 8 to 12 every day. They are homeschooling. They're doing school. And it's like, doesn't matter what comes up. That is the priority. And when you think about when you're sending your kid to school, it has to be pretty dang important to decide that they're not going to go to school that day, know? And so like transferring that importance over.
I agree.
I feel like she has done that really well.
It's going to be hard for me, but I'm going to do it.
Maybe she could even come and like talk to us actually. I was just thinking about
Let's
that.
Go
not that
buy
she's
her
like
coffee.
Not that she's like super far down the road, but I feel like she would be a really good resource. And she probably knows people who are like further than her, and I don't know, maybe I'll text her on the way back. We're both the worst texters, so maybe if your name is Jessie, you're just like not a good texter. But anyways,
but I'm really looking for that. Fall is my favorite. September 1st I start reading Harry Potter. I decorate my house like at the night of August 31st. I make Brady bring up all of my fall decor. I decorate my house, and it's like a Harry Potter day, and no one knows it. We listen to Harry Potter music. We make fun fall treats. I pull all my pumpkin spice everything out, and I look forward to that day so much. So I decided, because I know you're doing school system days is kind of what you're thinking. I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking September 1st is going to be my day. Because my sister, I remember my first day of kindergarten was on my sister's birthday, and my sister's birthday is August 31st. Why? Do you know why Colorado's school and my nephews, they're all starting the last day of August available in the week?
That's so silly.
Because we don't have very many snow days. So the reason why Colorado starts school so early is because of snow days, but in your homeschooling, you're not having snow days.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm just going to plan.
So in other states, it's not August? Oh,
They're doing, it's like always, I'm trying to
I thought we always went, but yeah, we always did go back in August.
August
but-
31st was my first day of kindergarten, and I will always run it because of my sister's birthday. I was devastated. So this is
My
the
parents
last, it's
always
like
let
the
us stay home.
26th is when they're starting. So
Okay.
it's not the 2nd, it's the 26th is when Missouri's
Our
starting.
parents always let us stay home on our birthdays, which is always
yeah,
fun.
you
But then you
should.
like get old enough where you kind of want to go to school on
Yeah,
your
'cause
birthday
your
because then
locker's
people bring you
decorated.
treats, or you get to bring treats to everyone, and yeah.
But yeah, so I think I'm looking forward to September 1st because it's always my favorite. It's like one of my top favorite days of the year. It's like a legit holiday to me. So, and then also November 1st.
That's my birthday.
I know it's your birthday, but it's my own personal holiday where I decorate for Christmas. So your birthday is like
She always says
probably
that.
my
She was
favorite day of the year.
She's always like, "Oh my gosh, you have the best birthday! You can
It's the
decorate
first
for
day of
Christmas."
Christmas.
And I know, and yeah, September is always going to be special to me because it's the month Sunny was born,
Yeah,
and I just
it's my
have
birthday
such a
too. I love
nostalgia.
it.
Like
Yeah.
September is just like, come on, you just can't get enough of it. And October is now Ledger's birth month, and I feel
Yeah.
like that is such
Fall
a fun
is
month.
so
November is my
fun.
birth month, and then it's Christmas, and I
Yeah.
feel like those are definitely like prime time
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
We're like getting way ahead of ourselves,
I
but
know.
I just like, yeah, I don't know.
We're getting close to the end mark. Do you want, before we leave, I got my swim spray in.
Good.
I was going to tell you guys about it.
I
So
still haven't gotten mine.
hopefully you get it soon. Last
I
year,
did find. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Last year, I was making my own swim spray and didn't smell good, didn't love it, never used it after I made it. It would gunk up in my spray bottle. So this year, we found a swim spray. It is just basically, it's vitamin C with some essential oils. And you spray it on your kids before they get in the pool, and it neutralizes the chlorine touching their skin. And I think it's Rowcasa. Rowcasa, Rowecasa. I got the After Sun spray, which Noah got a sunburn, which I don't think he's had a sunburn in his whole life.
Sunny did too, and she has never. Her face.
Noah goes, did he get burned? I don't even know what a burn looks like on him. So we got
Sunny's
the After
never
Sun spray.
gotten, yeah.
That helped a lot. And I got the vitamin C bath powder. So both of my kids, we were just talk about a summer nostalgia thing. My mother-in-law's subdivision, they always get like some bougie food trucks, and they're by their pool. And so every Friday night in the summer, we go to Susan's subdivision and we all eat dinner by the pool, and the kids swim, and it's so much fun.
I love that.
But we came home tonight and gave them their vitamin C bath afterwards, and I just felt so much peace. Like, I don't know, that's just something that I always feel guilty about, just like throwing them into.
Well, okay,
there
was something that I found, which is by Golden and Human. Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's called Bath Chow,
Yeah.
and it's a dechlorination bath soak.
Oh, is
for
it like
littles.
baking soda, magnesium,
I don't
sulfate?
know what it is.
Because this is a vitamin C. And I also
But it
put
just-
in
Yeah, it says
baking
it gets,
powder.
It chlorine is
Love
absorbed
that.
through the skin, and then it goes directly into your bloodstream. So then just getting them in this
Yeah.
bath, I think, helps pull
Love that.
some of that back out, neutralizing it.
It's just I just think it's a fun thing to have in the summer. And it has a very strong smell that smells so good. So I wonder if that will
Is
be
it
like,
Earth Mama?
no, who?
Because there's also like some orange bath by Earth Mama.
Oh no, this
Okay.
is by the Rowcasa.
Okay,
The
so,
same.
oh, you're talking about the same brand.
I
Okay.
got their vitamin C bath, their After Sun spray, and their swim spray, and they all smell so good. And I'm just like, I wonder if this smell is gonna make Noah feel like summer if I keep using this.
Yeah. That is smell
Yeah.
reminders are such a huge thing. I have these tanning oil drops that I put on my face. That I can't remember the brand. It's some natural brand, and it kind of like works throughout the day, makes your face darker and darker and darker throughout the day, and it smells like coconut. And I wore the first time I bought it was right before we went on our vacation in where did we just go? Florida, in the beginning of the year. So I was putting it on my face every day in Florida, and then I like resurfaced it recently, I think for Kate's wedding,
Makes
and
you
I was
think
just
of
like,
Florida.
I put it on, and Chase was like, "Why do you smell like a vacation?" And I was like,
Do you
"It's
know?
just funny how smell it reminds you of things."
Do you know? So you know how close I was with my grandparents who were passed. My dad's parents, they were very close. When my grandma passed, I have a bunch of her stuff, but I was most excited about two things. I have her locket,
yeah.
that I used to chew on when I was little. Had a little picture of me. The other thing I have is her used tube of lipstick. She
Stop.
used the
just got
same
goosebumps.
lipstick. It's in my closet. She used the same lipstick my entire childhood, and she always had McDonald's unsweet iced tea with a lemon in it. And she Oh, and that's just like a staple memory is her lipstick on the outside of her tea and the smell. So sometimes I'll miss her and I will just open her tube of lipstick and it just smells like her. I'm 5 years old again.
Oh,
I love it so much.
That's so special.
Nostalgia.
Seriously. I'm like, you guys, if you ever come to my house and you go in the basement, there are literally 42 totes and I'm a minimalist. Those totes are all memories. Like I'm probably not 42. I think each of us probably have like 5 to 7. My kids are gonna have like 20 by the, but I just think everything is so important and so fun to look through. And I was even like ordering, let me show you really quick. I was ordering this little water bottle for Sunny. It's actually like this, but it's it has Disney characters on it. Like this one's like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, cute.
And then like this one is,
wait, what side are you on? Let me see.
Temu.
Okay,
And then
I might have to do that.
This one is like all the princesses.
That's cute.
And then I was like, oh, you know what these remind me of? Do you remember? And maybe there were like Welch's jelly that was in glass jars that were Disney characters on the outside of them.
I don't remember.
Let me see if I can pull one up for you.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, like jelly. Like you would go buy jelly. And it was probably just in the 90s. I mean, I'm sure they realized that wasn't very oh, here they are. These are them.
Let me see.
See, it says a vintage. So like they had little characters on the outside. And while it's hard when you guys can't see
I don't
when
see
you
it.
can't see the things on
I don't
the podcast,
remember that.
but so I'm sure it was like maybe it was like early 90s. I don't know, maybe they got rid of them, but my family collected these and then this is what we would drink our water out of.
Oh my gosh.
And
Cute.
I was thinking about that when I came across like, oh, I should get Sunny this, and then I'm like, oh, those jelly jars. And then I'm thinking in my memory box in the basement, I've kept like 4 of these jelly jars. Like I should go find them. And I just feel like those are the kind of things that are just so fun for me, of like, there's a tangible thing that you can hold and smell and touch and look at that like takes you back.
Yeah.
So
go create some summer nostalgia.
We could do a
That's
whole
probably
episode
what I'm gonna title
about
the
nostalgia.
episode.
Yeah. I have oh my gosh, I've written so many poems about nostalgia because I feel like it's just
it's the main driver in our brains.
It's almost like a thief sometimes too, though, because you're just like, just let me chill.
Yeah.
You know, like my husband doesn't have that.
I know.
So he's just like so
like
sometimes you're like, why are you looking at Ledger like that? And I'm like, because like he's never going to be this little again. And he's just like, do
you remember 30 seconds
go
ago?
There. He can't go there in his brain, you know?
Brady's the same way. He's like, I don't understand. He's like, you hold on to stuff. Like I literally, my theme for my kitchen is my grandma's kitchen.
Yeah.
Like the lamps and the just kind of like almost clutter. And I just like, and he's like, this is so dumb. Why do you care about your grandma's kitchen? I'm like, you don't get it. You don't get it. This is my home. This makes me feel like home. The cookbook's out on the counter.
I never understood like the sterile, like, and maybe I did used to, I don't know. My home used to be, I guess, a lot more minimal, but I feel like there's something really like homey and comfortable and welcoming. And honestly, the Life-Giving Home has given me so many more tools of how to navigate my own home at like my house and kind of making them like more of the themes of like, what do you feel when you walk into each room and what do you want to feel when you walk into each room and how do you kind of like cultivate a space? Yeah. It honestly just breathes so much purpose into homemaking. And that's why I love the book so much. It's just so she's so passionate and like so unashamedly passionate. Sure. Yeah, I would love to. Like she's so unashamedly passionate about homemaking. You know, it's like it's not a little task. Like it's a huge deal to her. And she talks about how like intentionally she's like planted flowers and like trees. Like June was a lot about June in the book was a lot about landscaping and design of a backyard.
That's why I was just telling my husband, he's like, I don't understand. And then just put him outside with some toys. I'm like, no, you don't get it. This is you go to work and you control everything in that office. And he has it just like talk to my husband. He has like the scent of his office is specific. The color is specific. The way the chairs are have a specific purpose. Everything has a purpose. This is my office. This house, as we spend all day here.
And we're the like cultivators, you know, like I feel like throughout the book she says a lot of we statements of like we did this, this was important to us. And I know she's inferring her husband, but then I also know it was all on her. Like I just feel like that is, you know, it's something where like I don't know. Do you ever like grieve like being a little girl where like you were just the recipient of all of like the magic of everything,
Yeah.
and then you like grow up and you're like, wow, that was like literally my mom. Like she was the one, and like my dad made all the money. Like he's amazing, and I'm so grateful. But like she did all of that,
Yeah.
you know, like she planned the cookie parties that I look back and think about all the time, and she, you know, bought that swing set that we played on every day, and
Yeah.
she like all that kind of stuff. It's like breathing life into these spaces, cultivating them, and then kind of like creating a bounds for which there is that like creativity and imagination, and like fostering that is like part of our job description, and that is a weighty task.
Yeah, but it is a gift from the Lord, because most men don't have that.
No,
which is why it's so sad to me that we have erased femininity from our culture so hard, that these types of topics are not things that people will just scream from the rooftops.
No,
and it's so sad, because he gave us such like divine energy to create, which is what he does. He's like giving us a little piece of himself. He created life. He creates us. He creates our souls, but we can create our homes. We can create an environment. We can create like he gave us that. And I love it so much. And it's like such an ingrained part of being a woman.
I know.
And it's just not celebrated anymore. Well, I think it's turning a leaf, but
I hope so. I mean, I think that
it should be. My kids are going to love it. They're going to respect it, whether or not they choose to do that, but they will respect it.
That's where I'm like, I'm like so genuine in the fact that like I wake up every day and I'm like, how in the world do I get to do this?
Yes, this is my job.
I feel so lucky. Like I'm so blessed. When I think about that, I just get to like
all day.
I just get to hang out with these tiny, these gifts, these purely like I can't.
Innocent, like little glimpses of heaven.
Oh my gosh, like the joy that they bring me, I just can't fathom it. And sometimes it hurts my heart that like no one like can experience my kids in the same way that I can. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
It's a whole nother topic of nostalgia and like sad, heavy feelings, but it is. I'm like, how the heck do I get to do this? I don't know. I don't get it, but I'm just so grateful. And I think there's just like probably a lot of expectations we put on ourselves because we're so grateful, and because we see how big of a gift it is. We're like,
it needs to be done.
We need to steward it well.
Yeah. Which,
So anyways, I don't know. Good luck trying to figure out how to summarize this situation.
I don't know what reels I'm going to be cutting. I have no idea what I'm going to title this.
I'm sorry. Actually, I'm sure you guys like this kind of stuff though, because we're really just like give
us feedback. This summer is a little bit more loose. Hopefully we can get into some more specific topics later on, but bear with us because we are real people leading. I was going to say living and leading real lives. And summer is just kind of chaotic, especially when you break your foot and it just moves away.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for listening, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. I mean, we could always like have